Hi everybody, this is Black Rhino Ranger. Remember this picture I made? It was a picture I made which was meant to express my feelings for the fact that in 2009, Skylanders Academy, a show on Netflix, was canceled after 3 seasons. And these quotes that the Skylanders are saying, they are there to express my feelings towards what's happened, towards my feelings towards the cancellation. For example, Sparrow is like, the Academy show is canceled, and I haven't seen my real parents. Maybe they'll make a sequel series focusing on me finding them. As for Jetvac, he's like, maybe they'll reboot the show or franchise, hopefully not in the way of Thundercats Roar. On the bright side, we still got BR's fan animations. And Self was like, most TV shows based on games aren't very popular. I didn't transform into my beast but once in the show. I didn't get to be on the show. And as for Trigger Happy, he's got the angriest of the bunch. He's like, at least you get to know when your shows are ending. I didn't get it until 6 months. And in case you're wondering, this, like I said, this was made in April or May 2019. So that was when Star vs. the Forces of Evil and My Little Pony Friendship is Magic were still making episodes. Star vs. was nearly wrapped up, and Star and My Little Pony was in the middle of its final season. Now I was hoping that one day that Skylanders Academy would have a follow-up series. If we're not going to have a new season, we could have a new follow-up series, which follows the events of Spyro trying to find his parents. Still trying to find his parents. He's on a journey and stuff like that. I don't think we're ever going to get that, fellas. Because there's been reports that there was, changing a little bit of the subject, there was a report that a new Activision cartoon was about to be made. And it focuses on a related franchise, on a character who has appeared in Skylanders Academy at least 4 times as a guest character. And his name is, of course, Crash Bandicoot. And for those who don't, and in case you're wondering what am I talking about in this podcast, it's the fact that Crash Bandicoot was supposed to have an animated series coming this year. But unfortunately, yesterday, they scrapped it. They were in middle production, they had some animation, some voiceovers and stuff ready to be in the middle of it. And then suddenly, they scrapped it all. They completely scrapped it. And this is the test footage somebody sent me this animation I could find on Twitter. And it goes something like this.
Dr. Neo Periwinkle Cortex here. With this ingenious device, this ordinary Bandicoot will be mutated into the perfect leader for my Cortex Commander! It's alive! Obey! Obey your creator! What have I done?
And there you go, fellas. That's the test footage for the Crash Bandicoot cartoon. And as you can see, it kind of looks like, kind of reminds me of Cuphead in a sense. And some of the old Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry, Hanna-Barbera, bouncy type of animation. Very Ren and Stimpy-ish. Very bouncy, very off the wall. This is what Crash Bandicoot was originally made for, to be bouncy, off the wall, cartoony and stuff. They were supposed to have this made this year, but unfortunately they scrapped it. They say they scrapped it because there was something that because Activision didn't like this one thing within the script. It was posted on Reddit for what that reason is. I couldn't find the post on Reddit because they deleted that thing. So all I could find is a video by Canadian guy Ed. And this is what it says here. It says here, the new Crash cartoon at Amazon axed yesterday after a year of development. No cartoon coming. If I can, and this is what the writer for Crash Bandicoot said, if I can show you the artwork and test animation, I will. It's gorgeous. Amazon wanted the show for a full year. A team that has been developing the artwork and scripts and were about to go in production. But all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the show got axed yesterday. Hundreds, maybe thousands of people out of a job. Artists suddenly torn away from their project, lives ruined yesterday because the game people at Activision who weren't even part of the cartoon show decided that they didn't agree with the Amazon on a joke in one of the scripts that they didn't write. I watched brilliant scripts sit there unused and they get chopped up by is in the game department. It seems like they never want the cartoon to go forward. So they fought with Amazon and refused to budge on a stupid joke in one script until Amazon finally said, screw this Activision, screw this. Activision is impossible to work with. Activision also completely destroyed their relationship with Netflix during Skylanders Academy. So Netflix will never put out another Activision cartoon. And now it looks like Amazon won't work with them either. Or either, it depends on which country you're in. Seriously, you guys, hundreds of artists and writers and anime inspired because 2 or 3 executives of gaming sabotage it. They have their jobs still. If you ever wonder who ruined the possibility of a Crash cartoon, it's just a few people at Activision whose titles have development and gaming in them. If anyone wants a Crash show and wants help make it happen, seriously, they might still do it if the fans push. Sad day. So this basically confirms that, what they're saying is that Activision, for some reason, is butthurt of the fact that there's a simple joke within one of the scripts that seems to offend them so easily that they decided to scrap everything of the Crash Bandicoot cartoon. Scrap the development, scrap the animation process, scrap the voice acting, scrap everything, and even fire thousands of workers on the project. And I was thinking to myself, oh boy, this kind of reminds me of the Winnie the Pooh ban in China. And everybody joked about Winnie the Pooh and its leader looking pretty much alike. This guy got so easily offended by that joke that they decided to ban Winnie the Pooh. And there are sometimes nowadays a joke for some reason for some reason a joke nowadays is just you take it, you make one teeny tiny mistake and you're damned for life because of that joke. It's like kind of also reminds me of Gilbert Gottfried in a way. When a lot of you know him as the guy who plays Iago from Aladdin and Digit from Cybertrace. But at one point, he was also Affleck from the Affleck company, the insurance company. He was the voice of Affleck for 11 years, but then suddenly, in 2011, when the tsunami attacked Japan, Gilbert Gottfried decided to make jokes about it, like, what did the Japanese use for their films? Floodlights! And as a result, this got him fired from Affleck, and he can never voice Affleck ever again. And there was another one. James Gunn, the director of Guardians of the Galaxy, he was fired because somebody on the internet discovered a tweet where it was a joke. It was a joke about pedophilia. Now, regardless of that joke is definitely in poor taste, I will admit, but it was nevertheless still a joke. And yet James Gunn was temporarily fired from it. Thankfully, he did come back a few a year or two later. They had their apologies, they shook hands, and now he's got a job working on the Suicide Squad reboot and Guardians of the Galaxy 3. But sometimes I think to myself, but even Twitter often gets super easily offended when it comes to either jokes or anything, just the slightest bit of detailing off, in like the sense, the steampunk story, the cyberpunk story, where these angry people want the show to be that game to be canceled, but Nintendo fought back against them and say, no, we are continuing it as it is. We will not censor any of it. We will not allow freedom of creativity to be silenced. And sometimes when one tells a joke, they do have to take a risk. Sometimes you gotta sometimes you gotta push the boundaries, and if you want to be funny, because if you play it too safe, and chances are it's not funny. I mean, in words of Duckman, and as if I can try this in the Jason Alexander impression, comedy should provoke. It should bash through prejudices, challenge preconceptions. Comedy should always leave you different than when it found you. Sure, humor can hurt, even alienate, but the risk is better than the alternative. A steady diet of unconscious, child-proof playfulness mush. Team man to be challenged, to be offended, to be treated like thinking, reasoning adults, and raise your children to be the same. Don't let a comedian, a network, a congressional committee, or an evil genius take away your freedom to laugh at whatever you want. But I guess people are ignoring that advice, and they thought a joke is any joke is offensive nowadays. But even Mel Brooks had this line: good taste is the enemy of comedy. And unfortunately, Activision just decided to scrap everything, scrap the cartoons. Heck, they're even scrapping the... Yes, a lot of people say, man, Activision firing thousands of people for a joke, that's just low. And I was thinking to myself, and I thought Universal treated its employees terrible. You know, Universal, the original owners of Crash Bandicoot. I mean, they rushed their companies to on games like The Wrath of Cortex and Twinsanity. They didn't even tell Clancy Brown, the second voice of Cortex, about the changes within some games, and he was underpaid, which is why they called in Lex Lane to be Clancy Brown. And I think he still has a bit of a grudge to this day, which is why he has never returned to any future Crash or Spyro projects. And also because they cut Netflix and Activision have cut in tie-ins, I think this also confirms that there'll be no more cartoons from Activision, either on Netflix or on Amazon or even in any network, because they cut on everything. What's to be of Activision Studios right now? The only thing they worked on is Skylanders Academy, and as far as I'm aware, there hasn't been any news about the Call of Duty movie. And this just makes me sad. This just really, really makes me sad. I mean, I thought Universal treated its employees badly, but this, from Activision, I thought they were really improving. I thought they were really shaking their hands with their employees and making sure things are great and stuff. But no, fired just for a stupid joke. Lives completely ruined. Works, developments, pressures, everything, all because of one joke. Well, fellas, I guess all you have is either people's fan animations or even my animations, thankfully. Let me know what you think about this. I hope you've understand this video, if not enjoy it.